All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to our home buyer class. My name is Jickson Chacko with HomeSmart, and I'll be leading you through the process of purchasing your first or next home. Whether you're just beginning to think about buying a home or you've already started the process, this class will provide you with the information you need to make the best decision for your situation. I also want to introduce you to my co-host, Thomas Frank. He is the owner of New Capital Finance. He's my preferred lender and works with me to help buyers get approved for the houses of their dreams.
Thanks,
Thomas?
Jickson. Thanks for having me. Yep, I'm Thomas Frank. I am CEO and president of New Capital Finance. We're based out of Golding, Colorado. And we are brokers working with hundreds of banks to make sure that all of my clients, all of Jickson's clients, get the lowest possible rates and fees on their home loan. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, you bet.
All right, so let's just jump right into it. So the first step in the home buying process is understanding how it works. Then the buying process can vary depending on the location, the type of home, and the specifics of the transaction. However, generally the process includes the following steps. First step is usually the pre-approval. Before you start looking for a home, it's a good idea to get pre-approved for a mortgage. This will give you a better idea of how much you can afford to spend on a home, and it can also give you an advantage when making an offer on a home. Next, you go house hunting. Once you have been pre-approved, you can start looking for a home. You'll want to consider the type of home you need, the location you want to live in, and the features you want in a home. You can search for homes online and work with me, who will help you find homes that meet your criteria. After that, you want to make an offer. Once you find a home that you want to buy, we will need to make an offer to the seller. The offer will include the purchase price, the closing date, and contingencies, such as dates for inspections, appraisals, and many others. Once you have gotten offer accepted, you'll want to make an earnest money deposit. Here in Colorado, an earnest money deposit is a way for the buyer to show the sellers that they are serious about purchasing the property. It is held in escrow until the sale is complete, and it is usually applied towards the purchase price of the home at closing. After that, you have your negotiations and then closing. Once the seller receives your offer, negotiations may take place. This can include discussing the purchase price, closing date, contingencies, and any repairs that need to be made before closing. Once both parties agree on the terms, a purchase agreement is signed and the closing process begins. Home inspection. Before closing, it is important to have a professional inspector check the home for any potential problems. You will have the opportunity to renegotiate the purchase price, get a seller credit, or back out of the deal based on the results of the inspection, or even keep it as it is, depending on what you find. Closing. Closing is the final step in the home buying process. It is when the title of the property is transferred from the seller to the buyer, and all closing costs and fees are paid. The closing process can vary depending on the location and type of transaction, but generally it involves signing legal documents, paying closing costs, and transferring the ownership of the property. And then finally, the move in. Once closing is complete, the home is yours and you can move in. Now, it is important to note that this process can vary depending on the location, type of home, and the specific of the transaction. Sometimes you'll have things like post-occupancy in Colorado, you can have up to 60 days where the seller still stays in the house, and many other different things that can affect the process of this closing. Now, in order to buy a home, you either need cash for it on hand or you can use a loan. This type of loan is called a mortgage. The first thing to do is speak to a lender, like Thomas here, and find out what amount you would be qualified for on a mortgage. Thomas?
Yep. So we'll begin discussing the different types of loans that are available and the pros and cons of some of these loans that are out there. And what are these types of loans? We're talking FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, and jumbo loans. There's some other ones outside of that, but we won't get into all the specifics. So FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional loans. And they all have some differences, and FHA loans are government-backed, government-insured loans that are designed more specifically for first-time home buyers or for lower limited credit history. They have like looser requirements regarding debt to income, lower down payment requirements, and lower credit score requirements. I have some lenders that will go as low as, 580 credit score, sometimes lower case by case, especially for VAs. VA doesn't have any specific minimum down payment, or excuse me, minimum credit score. But for FHA, they do have a required 3.5% down that they want. VA loans are loans that are guaranteed by the Department of Veteran Affairs. They're only available to eligible veterans who were active military duty, or their surviving spouses, or their veterans of the military themselves. These programs have no down payment requirement, and they do have lenient credit score requirements. Like I said, the VA has no minimum credit score, like some of the other loan programs. USDA loans are mortgages that are guaranteed by the United States Department of Agriculture, and these loans are designed for home buyers in rural areas, and these programs have no down payment as well. So huge advantage that a lot of people look over there. Conventional loans are your more common loan that you've heard about. These loans are not insured or guaranteed by the government. They're typically private lenders that are held, that have more strict credit requirements and down payment requirements. They have, though, released some programs recently that have competing with FHA, like 3% down conventional programs. So yes, you don't need 20% down to get a conventional loan. Next loan is jumbo loans. And these loans are loans that are too large to be eligible for any government-backed programs, like we mentioned, the FHA, VA, USDA loans. They are larger, they have a larger down payment requirement and a higher credit score requirement than some of the conventional loans out there. Jumbo loans are used for high value homes that are too large, or they go over the county lending limits.
Can you summarize?
Yeah, sure. In summary, so basically FHA loans are kind of geared more towards first-time home buyers with limited or lower type of credit. VA loans are eligible for veterans. USDA loans are more for the rural home buyers, and conventional loans are loans that are not backed by the government. Jumbo loans are too high for those county lending limits, to kind of summarize all of those together. It's also worth noting that there's a few examples of these programs available, and that each program has its own requirements and guidelines. And so you want to check into all of those with someone like myself to make sure that you're put into the right program. Next, we're going to go over some state-specific Colorado down payment programs. And what are those, might you ask? We'll go over some of those now. So the first one is, there's several down payment programs in Colorado, and they can help Colorado homebuyers with their down payment and closing costs. And some of those examples are like CHAFA, which is Colorado Housing and Finance Authority. They have different grants and down payment assistance programs that offer low interest rates to homebuyers that have moderate to low incomes. So they have income restrictions. The next one is CHAC, commonly referred to as CHAC, the Community Housing Alliance of Colorado. This program provides assistance in the form of grants as long as you qualify and reach certain income restrictions and the house and purchase price guidelines. There's lots of different down payment program assistance programs that we can provide you with and pair you with. So I have access to all of these. They basically all have different kinds of grants and silent seconds, things of that nature. There's also first-time homebuyer down payment assistance programs. They come in the form of grants as well, so those don't have to be repaid. You do have to be a first-time homebuyer, and you have to reach their income requirements and purchase price guidelines. The Colorado Down Payment Dream Down Payment Assistance Program gives you down payment assistance in the form of a grant, as long as you reach their income and purchase price guidelines. The Denver Office of Economic Development's Home Ownership Opportunity Alliance. This program also provides down payments assistance as long as you reach their income and property price guidelines. So I can help pair you guys up with one of these programs. It's definitely worth noting that these are just some examples of these programs, and that all of them have their own specific requirements and guidelines. And so you want to check with me to make sure that you fit into all those programs. The specific requirements for these programs can change over time. So you can check onto, like, you can Google some of these programs or check on their website, and they will go over some of the restrictions and some of the requirements that they have, like income. Typically, the home buyer must have a total household income that doesn't exceed like the area median income or 120% of that area median income. So again, I'll help you kind of navigate those. The purchase price of the home must be within a certain range, so they don't let you go, purchase a multi-million-dollar property. Most of these programs, pretty much all of them, require you to be a first-time home buyer, which means you have not purchased a home in the last 3 years. That's the definition. They do have minimum credit score requirements, but they vary within these programs. Some of them are 620, some 640. Most of these programs do require home buyer education and class. Those can be completed online or in person. They do require that this is a primary residence for the home and that you have to occupy the residence within 60 days. Of course, there's certain property requirements as well. They want to make sure that it's livable conditions and that the property is sound and safe. Also, just note again that some of these programs and requirements change over time. So it's best to just confirm with all these things and make sure that you're eligible for all these programs. Now we will go into the difference between a pre-approval and pre-qualification. They're both steps in the mortgage process, but they have different impacts on your buying. So a pre-qualification is a preliminary step where we look at your income and financials, assets and credit, and we can determine kind of, how much you are going to qualify for, but it's not any sort of a guarantee of approval or anything like that. Where a pre-approval is a little bit more in depth, where we actually go in, verify income, verify assets, verify credit, and have an underwriter look at all of these things. This gives you a much stronger indication that your loan will be approved, and it gives you a much better leverage point when you are making offers on homes. Let's see. Once you understand the home buying process, you will want to, I'm sorry, let me back up. So yeah, to summarize all of these different pre-approvals and pre-qualifications, basically one is stronger than the other, and it just gives you more leverage, and it shows the seller that, you've had an underwriter look at this file.
Perfect. Thanks, Thomas.
Bet.
Yeah. Once you understand this home buying process, the next step is to prepare for home ownership. Preparing for the home ownership can be a complex process, but with the right steps, you can make it a smooth and successful experience. Here are a few things to consider when preparing for home ownership. You really want to review your credit score, income, expenses, and to determine your financial readiness for home ownership. It's a good idea to obtain a copy of your credit report and go through it to check for errors and make sure that your credit score is as high as possible. And this is a place where Thomas can also help, because he can use his team to make sure that your credit is looking as clean as possible. You want to get pre-approved for a mortgage. Before you start looking for a home, it's a good idea to get pre-approved for a mortgage. This will give you a better idea of how much you can afford to spend on a home, and it can also give you an advantage when making an offer on a home. Most sellers won't even consider it unless you're coming in with a pre-approval and even a lender's call. So you want to make sure you're really strong and ready to make an offer on a property before you do make an offer. The other thing you want to consider is your lifestyle and your needs. Consider the type of home you need, the location you want to live in, the features you want in a home. This will help you narrow down the search and find a home that is a good fit for you. You also want to save up for a down payment. This will not only help you qualify for a mortgage, but it'll also lower your monthly payments. You want to have a contingency plan. Lots of times unexpected things can happen, and being prepared for the unexpected events such as job loss, interest rate increase, or any other unforeseen circumstance is very important. It's always a good idea to have a contingency plan in case things don't go as planned. You want to get homeowners insurance. Homeowners insurance can protect your home and personal property from damage or loss. It is very important to have insurance in place before you close on a home and is required here in Colorado. Now, preparing for a home ownership takes time and effort, but with the right steps, you can make it a fun, smooth, and successful experience. Does anybody have any questions?
How do I get a jumbo loan? I'm just joking.
You're gonna talk to Thomas for that one. But if there's no more questions, you know, that pretty much concludes the class for today. And really, once you found the right home, the next step is to close the deal. At that time, we'll discuss the closing process, including how to review and sign the purchase agreement, how to handle the closing costs. We'll also cover the importance of title insurance, how to, excuse me, ensure a smooth closing. We will also talk about how to review and negotiate the purchase agreement and how to prepare for closing day. And remember that, buying a home is a big decision, and with the right information and preparation, you can make it a successful and enjoyable experience. I hope you found this class helpful, and I encourage you to ask any questions you may have. We hope to see you again soon, and if there's anything we can help you with or any questions we can answer for you, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can get me at 720-357-9034 or at littletonrealestate.net. Thomas, how do they reach you?
You can go to newcapfinance.com or 303-917-8278.
And thank you for joining us today. We hope to be a good luck to you in your home buying journey. And tomorrow, join me at the Holy Grounds Cafe at the Front Range Christian School for some coffee and real estate talk. I'll be there from 8:15 till about 10:15. And we can definitely have some coffee on me and have a good time. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your time and attention. And call me or Thomas for any real estate needs. Have a great day.